Okay, Aquarius. Let's see what's going on for you guys. Let me see for who I'm reading. Universe, Angel, Spirit Guides. Let's bring in Aquarius and let's go from the ending of this first week of October going into the second. So, the first week of October is upon us. I believe the last reading was these beginning energies. So let's take this first week of October going into the second week of October. What's the situation for my Aquarius clan, please? Obviously, the readings aren't going to resonate with everybody. But sometimes I truly feel, not sometimes, I actually believe, and all the time, that the universe makes me read for the cohort where this is affecting the most within your own group. All right, Aquarius, please. And if you'll see, it's funny because on TikTok, it's I could see it so clearly. YouTube's a little bit different. So what's the situation for Aquarius? Like there'll be 40,000 views, but under there, it'll, everybody agrees with the same situation or the same kind of life story. There's a common theme there. That's why I always say, guys, comment, because you're not just only helping me and the channel, you're helping yourself, your community, other people who are going through what you're going through. And when we create communities, we have not just to bond, but someone that can give us like an opinion that's outside our circle, outside our realm, outside, our family and friends, another perspective. This is why I always say, please comment down below. It helps not just you and me, it helps everyone. Now, with that said, I have 2 nines, which makes this already interesting to me. Why? Because you have the 9 of Pentacles, and at the bottom of the deck is the 9 of Cups. The 9 of Pentacles, this is an achievement. It's quite an achievement, actually. It's financial independence. It means like you can go out there and be okay without anybody's help. I mean, you've always known this about yourself, and you always help, and you want to be the person who wants to help, Aquarius. But I think with the way that the eclipses have come in for you and the way that the planets are aligning, you're starting to understand what boundaries look like and you're starting to apply them, right? I think you're starting to tell people you're not going to be no longer the welcome mat, that you're going to start showing those healthy boundaries. And I say this because sometimes when I see 2 nines, it could border and teeter-totter on selfishness, but it's not the negative aspect of being selfish. It's about taking care of thyself. It's about self-love, self-preservation, self-achievement, which is the 9 of Pentacles. If they were inverted and they were reversed, yes, then I could say the negative aspects of being selfish. But that's not the case here. You're going towards your desires and your wish fulfillment, right? And you're doing this based on you, your feelings, your emotions, what you want out of this. And I love it because underneath it, someone clearly agrees with you because there's a 2 of Cups, a partnership trying to come in. Now, let me see what is coming in for you. And you know what, Aquarius, you've always been attractive because you have this unique, mysterious, intriguing factor about yourself. The intriguing factor, I like to call it. So it attracts most people into you. But you're so jovial and fun and nice to be around and you're easy to socialize with. But now you're no longer going to be doing this so you could be the chameleon of the zodiac. You're now going to be more selective. You always have been, but now you're going to make it obvious, right? So what's coming in towards my Aquarius, please? At least that's the genuine vibe I'm getting. You were, and for a little while, you were a lone wolf doing shit like things by yourself, or you were quietly making moves for the last year or 2. Now you're coming out. All right. Wow. Speaking of coming out, I went from all the positive crap to all the negative crap. You're walking away from something that no longer emotionally serves you. So sometimes I love giving these pre-speeches to you because then the cards come out right after I get done telling you my intuitive feelings to back up my vibes of what I think is coming towards you in the second week of October. October is making the moves and the implementations and the shifts of your feelings, your thoughts, and your actions from September's eclipses. All right. You're starting to put in motion all those things that you were dealing with in September. But your mind has to catch up with everything else. So now it's catching up. Fast forward October to where we are this week, you're emotionally detaching. You are saying, I'll leave these cups here. I just need you to understand this is a one-way love story. I did my end. Where's yours? Right? This is turning into something toxic. We're turning into chained lovers. And the devil doesn't do things to us. We do things to us. We, live by our insecurities, codependencies, allow toxic, narcissistic people into our life, knowing that they're toxic, and we just let them be. We let them live. You're not going to do that anymore, Aquarius. I'm telling you right now, you're not. And I can see it right behind the devil, the death card, and then the Empress. Listen, I will give you the heads up in the warning with the Virgo Hermit in reverse. And then the Three of Cups underneath that. See, on the table is the energies of the second week, the first into the second week of October. Here is coming down throughout the rest of October. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to kill this toxic situation. You're going to kill some toxic connection with a lover or something like that. Because what's going to happen is, in death, you wanted to transition. You say to yourself, I'm high value, I'm high caliber. I make moves, things happen. You need to match my energy or goodbye. I am, the Empress here. But with the Hermit in reverse, it's not like, one, it's like a self-imposed timeout, like that lone wolf thing I was talking about. But moreover, it could sometimes talk about not making a wise decision, like a reconciliation here. But just kidding, because, it could be. But that's kind of like what I see lingering around here. Let's continue and see what's going on. What is it that Aquarius does not see coming their way, please? Let's see. Four of Cups, Seven of Cups. It's very interesting how we're getting into a lot of cups. Pentacles, cups. Pentacles, cups. It's the stability in your life, the finances in your life, the people in your life, like kids, husband, wife, car, house, the 3D tangible stuff, right? Your financial independence worth your family and financial dependency. But here in the middle is the cups. It's the emotions and the feelings, like how you're feeling about all this tangible stuff in your world, right? See, this is unrequited love. This is runner-chaser dynamic. Somebody here does not feel the same way as the other person, and it's causing confusion, right? So you might be turned off by a situation here, Aquarius, and now you're trying to think to yourself, well, what's the right fit for me? Like, what should I do here in this case scenario? I wouldn't even be surprised if there was like a Five of Swords that comes out later, or where you're or two, because now you're going to go be put in your head trying to decide logically and rationally what the right thing is for you, the right choice. This could be about a marriage and a commitment, which is your career, which is your job, which is your marriage, which is a relationship you had for like years, or that you invested in, whatever this, your gym membership. I don't know. You're a ballerina. Now you want to maybe don't think it's the right fit anymore. You get my point. Under that is the sun, is the happiness, but then I see the breadcrumbs, and I see you defending yourself in regards to a person that says that they're going to give you stability or a new opportunity. We shall see. Let's continue. This will be interesting when we clarify what this is. This isn't you, then this is your person. This is like somebody here is not putting the same effort of feelings. Like I said before, one-way love. What is the advice here for Aquarius? And when I say love, yes, it can be about your career, your job, your person, whatever that is for you. Advice for Aquarius, please. Oh, interesting. Um, I think Aquarius, with your advice here, somebody is not telling the truth. Somebody is either lying or they're not putting all their cards on the table, or somebody here is not getting the whole gist of the situation. Because I see a resistance, a hesitancy, or just a defensive kind of nature. And I don't know if this is you or your person. But here in your advice, it's saying you really do need to defend yourself and resist the bullshit. Because the Ace of Swords, when in its upright position, talks about being honest, fair, communicating with your person, putting all your cards on the table. In the reverse, either you're not doing it or they're not doing it, and it needs to be done in order for this to work out or for you to make a decision with your life so you can move on. Aquarius, what is the outcome for my beautiful Aquarius for the week, please? Here's person number 2, an air sign like yourself, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy, which is available to you. I see both people are available to you, but there's something here that's heartbreaking. Look at this. King, heartbreak. Under that, another king. That's 2 people. And they're both upright. Now here's the situation. Guys, this is either a job loss or a relationship loss or a friendship loss or a gym membership loss. I don't know what this is, but no. I'll tell you, I'll describe and explain what it is. See, one, it's not funny, I know. The Tower, which is also Scorpio energy, by the way, doesn't come lightly, especially in an outcome. See, if you didn't eclipse out what was supposed to be eclipsed in September, the universe is definitely going to do it for you. So if you're in a toxic environment at work and your coworkers are assholes and you're just not jiving or they don't get you, the universe is going to get you fired because you don't belong there. You belong for something bigger and better and different, right? You belong somewhere where you're going to evolve, Aquarius. It's the same thing in a relationship, in a marriage. You're going to have a fight and it's going to upend your world. It will shock you and it will change the whole entire dynamic because this fight is so big that you're like, oh my God, we might actually get a divorce. Like, oh my God, we're actually getting separated. Or, oh my God, this fight was so bad that we might break up. Here's the thing with the 8 of Pentacles. You're just keeping your head down. You're just chugging along, working, collecting your little accolades and your kudos and your money and your whatever your goals are. You're just chipping away. The problem with this is, and this is great, don't get me wrong, but you're not looking up. Thus, this is why you're having a Tower moment. It's like you're kind of saying to yourself, hear no evil, see no evil. I'm doing well. I'm doing okay. I'm doing my job. I'm making money. I want you to look at this card. This dude is looking down at the bench, collecting all this coin, not realizing how much they've collected, how much tools you've collected, money, respect, love, power, energy, all of that. You did that. You achieved that, Aquarius. But now look up and see what's missing. Now look up and see how your world could be whole 100%. Because if you don't, which you're not, because the universe is giving you a Tower. I hope I'm making sense here, guys. All right? I know I'm a very different type of reader, but I want people to see how 9 times out of 10, I like the Carl Jung approach. I really do, in psychology and symbology and this and that. But this is how tarot was invented back in the day too. It was always used for symbolism. It was always used as a tool. It was always used to show you what you've always been seeing and thinking and feeling to begin with. Yeah, it's going to also show me what the other person's thinking and feeling. Yes, and I can also see the predictive pattern that's going to happen. But it's good to see this before it does, right? So you can A, understand, B, acknowledge, and C, use these tools to change. So either you're going to flow with it or you're going to change. your behavior, your feelings, your thoughts, your situation, your circumstance. Use the advice. That's why I always throw advice in my readings. Sometimes I love when like my advice matches with my outcome, but when it doesn't, it needs to be, highlighted or underlined. All right, what is the Nine of Pentacles? Please clarify, because that doesn't, they're not cohesive. They're not matching. They're not gelling. Nine of Pentacles, please. There's your tower in your what's it called? Your clarifiers in the beginning as it is in the end. The only difference is that's in reverse and that's upright. And that's incredibly significant, and I'll explain it to you in a second. Incredibly significant. Oh, God, yes. Okay, when we have tower moments or death cards or even the devil cards, those are they're like major arcanas. They're very negative, but if you could just see the problems face on, then you can handle anything, and you could just go through them like a champ, right? And the reason I'm telling you all this stuff is because you have the Tower with the Two of Wands under the Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, you're single. Yes, you're independent. Yes, you're doing something alone. This is dolo situation, doing it alone. See, with the Tower in reverse, that's something you're not letting go. The universe sees this. Why aren't you letting this go, Sally? Why aren't you letting this go, Sam? Why are you still clinging on to this tower? It fell. You're not going to take like the bricks and rebuild that disaster show, right? You're going to be here. You're going to be at the door, at the crossroads of your life, and do the new thing. The new thing. Alone. Dolo. They want to chase you. They want to follow you. Absolutely wonderful. I hope they come correct. And yes, they can come and chase you, because you're not going to wait for anybody. All right? Because for you, the sky's the limit. Now, with that said, at the bottom of the deck is death. Death is death. It's ending. It's transition. I don't like to read about real death, but yes, sometimes the cards could be, like direct. I hate to say it. I don't want to talk about it, but for others of you, it's a death of a marriage. It's a death of a commitment. It's a death of a relationship, career, education. Whatever it is, it needs to transition, and that's what we have. That's what you need. You have some tower moment you're not letting go because you're still at the the crosshairs. You're at the door. You're about to get pushed over, because I do like what you're doing. See how you have the tower and you're not letting go. It's going to get forced on you in your outcome. That's the significance. Now, you are making moves. You are doing the Eight of Cups. You're emotionally detaching yourself emotionally. And you're kind of just putting space here between you and someone else. Eight of Cups, please. You know how, oh wow. You know how I just got done saying, how you're detaching yourself emotionally, you're giving yourself that space. You're making that judgment call. So it's just clarifying exactly what I just told you. You're making a judgment call to walk away, because it was one-way love. It was no emotional satisfaction. I mean, there was, but there wasn't. It was like you were putting your all in and nothing was happening on their end. You're kind of like taking your welcome mat from outside your door and you're pulling it into the house. And then you're putting out another doormat that says nothing. Blank slate. Let me see what you're going to write there. All right? But that's the devil. That's the devil trying to draw you back in. That's the devil trying to make you repeat a pattern or a cycle. That's the devil making you have insecurities and doubts, or you're dealing with the devil, or you're locked here with like a lover. Justice is definitely coming in. This is Capricorn. This is Libra. And it's going to come like as a text message. Hey, what am I going to do with this? Like, what am I supposed to be like from somebody who's my lover that texts me, hey? hey back. And then what? I didn't hear the phone ring. I didn't hear changes happening. That. All right, what is the Four of Cups and the Eight of Cups, please? Seven of Cups, I'm sorry. Now, sevens are pausing and reflecting. What's the best fit for me? This isn't cool. I don't like this. Or it's unrequited love. One way. See, when the devil wants to come out, the devil wants to come out. Here's what's even more interesting to me. The way the cards were lining up in the other deck, they're lining up in this deck. That's why I use two decks, right? Because here is your Empress again, by the devil, and the Ten of Pentacles, and the Hangman. Somebody is in a marriage or in a commitment, and they're stuck and trapped. Whether that's you or them, it doesn't matter. But there's something toxic going on here, right? And this is why you're pausing and reflecting. Somebody's energy is already, held by someone else's external environment. You start realizing your worth and your value, the Empress. Then somebody does this, whether it's you or them. They say, hey, let's have a heart-to-heart conversation. And you know what, Aquarius? You just might be like, you know what? This isn't good for me. This is toxic for me. I don't like what's going on here. This isn't working out. So maybe you say goodbye, or you give him an ultimatum, and then you start to feel guilty that you did that. I hope you don't. I hope you stay strong, because that's what it's telling you to do. But I see you holding on. Yeah, I mean, here's the problem with that. You can only do that once. You can't do that twice. If you do that twice, then your person expects you to do this all the time. What is the Ace of Swords in reverse? See, if you get the truth out of your person, whether this is you or them, honestly, whether it's you who has to tell the truth or they do, when you get the truth out of your person, because in your advice, it's giving you the Ace of Swords in reverse, and you make the other person come to the table and put their cards on the table, you might find a compromise within that, because it's showing me that the sun is right around the corner. All right, your happiness is contingent upon this, right? And make sure, well, it's not make sure, but I see you will eventually come from a place of love. You'll be somewhere on an emotional level. But here's the thing too, because I see the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Cups. This is a fine line, Aquarius. Let me explain to you. The Queen of Cups is emotionally mature and available. She deals in the realm of love. All right? And she knows how to mutate love in a healthy kind of way. Queen of Wands, though, comes from a place of fire and passion and creativity and sex and heat. And this could be, an affair person. So these are the two where you have to balance. You can't have one without the other. I get it. This is all fire, you burn out. This is all water. This drowns the other situation out. You put them together, you can create steam, but this is a fine line. You don't want to go from lovey-dovey to, we're back to being an affair couple, right? Even though it makes you feel like you come in from out of the cold, Five of Pentacles in reverse, and then you go back into hermit mode where you're trying to make a wise choice and a decision. And then do I collaborate with this individual? Like I said, that's a merry-go-round. You got to be careful between these energies, because we're still talking about your advice here. Now, let's go to outcome, please. What is the... 10 of Cups. That's a breakup, friend. There you are working along in this relationship, and then there's a breakup out of nowhere. It's a shock to you. It should not be a shock. But I don't know if this is you and your person or your person and their person. Like if there was a third party and they broke up to come to you. Um, because I see you hesitating this and resisting this. What's up with this? Like you don't believe it or you're fighting it or you're resisting it and it could be with you too. So, clarify this because you've been working at this. Like I don't think you're going to believe it at first. You will try to temper yourself. You got some crazy ass energies in the second week. That is certainly a breakup. Something you've been working towards. I don't know if you'll stay broken up. Please try to use the advice because, like I said to you earlier, the advice looks very different from your outcome. When I say something in the advice and then I also see you kind of doing it in the outcome, that means you're on the right path, you're on the right track. This is not that. I think you're keeping your head down, you're working on you, you're doing your thing. You will eventually emotionally leave, but you need to do the communicating part too to change this. All right, this is like to be continued type shit. So I'm not going to leave it just there, all right, because that's to be continued. Let's see what we're going to read for in the extended readings. Extended readings, that's love, guys. That's all about your person. What's going on here, universe, angel, spirit guides? Did I miss anything? What do you see here? We deep dive on these cards with tarot, and then we go into the person you're thinking about, your feelings for you and all of that, what they're going to do. You have soulmate here. Shit, I can't wait to clarify this. You're dealing with a soulmate. Whether that's the person you're with now, your lover, we'll see in the extended. But yes, this is your soulmate. Bam. Let's see what the Moonology cards have to say. What's going on here for my Aquarius, please? Confidence is the key to your success. New moon in Leo. All right, we have to read this because this is going to go right back to your advice. And I think it's kind of important if you're going to use the advice and interpret it and apply it to your situation. All right. This card heralds the start of a new cycle for you, when you're going to look and feel more gorgeous, more in the spotlight, more like you, and have something worth showing off. If you want someone's attention, this card says it's coming. However, this may not happen all by itself. You have to be willing to do your bit. That means being proud of who you are and what you have to offer. Think of yourself as the king and queen of the jungle and carry yourself accordingly. This card is also a great omen if you're asking about a creative project you're working on. Alternatively, it can herald good news or a new start for those of you who want children. For me, Leo talks about beauty, aesthetics, fashion. If you're in regards to here being for a work reading, that's what that is. That's the direction and path it's giving you a sign. And if you want somebody's attention, you got to come in and be present, even in a relationship. You say, for example, you're in a third party situation, right? And that person is dealing with all their shit over there, you know, their wife, husband, kids, family, whatever. But they have a relationship with you and they say they want to come towards you. You have to be present. You have to come in as your own entity and be like, well, this is who I am. You either want that entity or you want this entity, right? It's the same as you would in any business venture. So it's kind of saying, you know your power, know your worth, of course, but show it too. So come in with that authority. All right, guys, that's what I have for you this week. I hope that helped, and I will see you on the next one.